Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, going to be talking through the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Saturday, May the 7th. Got another two-game slate for Saturday, Boston, Milwaukee. We got game 3 of that series, and then later tonight on Saturday night, we got Memphis and Golden State, game 3 of that series. Do want to mention that today's slate is a little bit of an early start. We do have, the first game of the day does start early in the afternoon, 3:30 Eastern time, and then, the next game starts at 8:30, so got kind of like an early afternoon game, and then, you have your late night game. But we got a two-game slate for today. As always, guys, we're going to talk through these two games, kind of, talk through what stands out to me, what I like, taking a first look at the slate on Friday night. And then as we do go through each game, as always, we'll build out an early core. We'll talk about, 5 guys I do like at first look on both Draftkings and on Yahoo. Now, as always, before we get started with the breakdown, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. I always do appreciate the likes. If you are new to the channel, click that subscribe button as well. Trying to upload these NBA videos, every single day for you guys on the days where we have at least a 2-game slate. I'm trying to get videos out. So I'd appreciate if you guys definitely would hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Also, go check out Prize Picks, the sponsor of this video. So I know a lot of you guys probably have already signed up for Prize Picks, but if you are new here and you have not checked them out, you can sign up with my promo code NOAH. They will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And to put it simple, Prize Picks is a player prop based DFS site, so it's a little bit different than DraftKings and FanDuel and Yahoo. You're not building out a lineup, you're not competing against other players. It's just you versus their projections. So they have projections for pretty much every starter for Saturday's games, and as we do get closer to tip-off Saturday, you'll see more guys get added to the board. You'll see some bench guys get added to the board, but they have all the starters posted. You can take a look at their props. Points, props, assists, rebounds, points, rebounds, assists added together, 3-pointers made, blocks and steals. You can even bet on if a guy's going to get a double-double, yes or no. You would take over or under. So very simple, very easy to use. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks, and you can win up to 10 extra money on Prize Picks. It's a lot of fun. You can mix and match sports as well. So even if even if NBA is a sport that you have interest in, but there's other sports you like as well, they offer a ton of other sports outside of just NBA, MLB, NHL. MMA, soccer, CSGO, the list goes on and on. So give Prize Picks a try if you guys haven't yet. Sign up, use promo code NOAH, so that way you do get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's talk through Saturday's 2-game slate. Start off with the first game of the day, Boston and Milwaukee. And we'll start off on the Boston side. So looking at the Celtics here, really the only injury news to monitor here is Marcus Smart, and he's probable, so he is expected to play. So really there's nothing too crazy to talk about from Boston. We'll start off at the top with Jason Tatum. At 10K, I don't think Jason Tatum's like my favorite pay-up option on this slate. We're going to talk about, John Morant and Steph Curry later, who I do like quite a bit. You have Giannis on the other side of this game you can go to. I think those are guys I'd rather get to over Tatum, but I mean, it's hard to argue against Tatum basically any slate, especially on a 2-game slate. Like, obviously Jason Tatum is in play. Again, he's not my favorite pay-up option. I prefer some other guys, but Tatum's going to have a massive role. He's going to play huge minutes. He's played 40 and 43 minutes in the 2 games so far in the series. We've seen him play 40-plus minutes a night so far in the playoffs, so I expect 40-plus minutes from Jason Tatum. We know the upside's there. At 10K, he is firmly in play today. Now you have Jaylen Brown at 8K, who is coming off a pretty good game where he had 54 DraftKings points in 38 minutes. It's really the biggest game Jaylen Brown's had in a while. So far in the postseason, he's kind of been living like in the low 40s, high 30s in terms of fantasy points per game. Finally had that big ceiling game last game, went for 54 DK points. Look, that ceiling is always there for Jaylen Brown. Like, he can always put up those type of games, especially because he is a fairly high usage player. He does play pretty big minutes as well. I think the 8K price tag makes Brown like a solid option, but he's not someone I'm really building around today. And I think, if his ownership's going to be a little inflated because he had a big game last game, like, that's a situation where I'd probably just want to kind of stay away from Jaylen Brown. Not saying he's a bad play and that he's going to do bad today. It's just that, if everyone's going to flock to him just because he's coming off a big game, then those are times when I kind of like to stay away from guys, especially if, the ownership isn't really warranted. So Jaylen Brown is in play. I'm just not super excited about him at that 8K price tag. Marcus Smart, I mean, he is someone that I've played a lot so far in the playoffs. He's been super consistent, very solid. He's played big minutes on a nightly basis. With him probable, you expect him to play today. I don't think he's going to be like on any sort of limit either. I would assume he's full go. I mean, the last time the Celtics played was I think on Tuesday, so they've had like 3 or 4 days to rest for this game. The last time Marcus Smart played was on the 1st of May, so it's almost been a week since Marcus Smart has played. He should have plenty of rest. He should be good to go. I'm expecting him to play his normal 36 to 40 minutes. I mean, he's not the best point per minute player, but Marcus Smart, when he gets 40 minutes, 38 minutes, I mean, he can give you 30, 35 DraftKings points, which at his salary is probably going to be pretty good. So I definitely think Marcus Smart is a solid mid-range play. I think Al Horford is a solid mid-range play as well. Al Horford has been great in this series. He's been super productive. He's been playing big minutes, 36 and 37 minutes in both games, has 37 and 40 DraftKings points. Game log obviously looks really good. I don't want to just play him just because of the game log. I don't think that, that's something that I don't want to base my decisions off of. But the minutes are really what stands out to Al Horford. Like, even since Robert Williams has come back, they've still been playing Al Horford big minutes. They've been playing Williams and Horford. Basically, Williams and Horford have been getting all the center minutes. Like, Daniel Tice didn't even play last game. So one of Horford or Williams is going to be on the floor at all times. So you're probably going to get like 25, 30 minutes from Robert Williams, probably 35, 36 minutes from Al Horford. At 5,900, if Al Horford continues to play 35, 36 minutes, especially with how he can contribute in all categories, he's not going to do one thing great, but he just does a little bit of everything. He'll get a little bit of points, some rebounds, he'll get a few assists. He can always get defensive stats. He's kind of like a mini Draymond Green. So I think Al Horford at 5,900 is a very solid mid-range play today. I do like him quite a bit on both sides. He's very affordable on Yahoo as well. So over there at $23, I think Al Horford looks like a solid power forward option on Yahoo. And then, as I mentioned, Robert Williams at 4,800. I know he's been pretty mediocre since he's come back from his injury, but the minutes are slowly starting to trend up for Robert Williams. He played 16 minutes off the bench in his first game back from injury. Next game, he played 14 minutes off the bench. And then we saw in game 1 of this series, he moved into the starting lineup, played 22 minutes. Then last game, he played 25 minutes. So the minutes have been getting higher and higher for Williams. I think today we get about 25 to 28 minutes. Maybe if he's playing well, he can get 30 minutes. And if we're getting like 25, maybe 30 minutes from Robert Williams, especially at 4,800, this is still too cheap of a price tag in my opinion. I've been playing Robert Williams lately. Obviously, it hasn't gone well, but I think this price tag is just too low for a guy that has the kind of upside that he does. Robert Williams is a guy that can score. He can grab rebounds. He's a great shot blocker. We've seen him have huge games when he gets good minutes, and I think his minutes are just going to continue to rise as he starts to get healthier and healthier, and especially with them having 3-4 days to rest for this game. Williams should be good to play like 28, 30 minutes here. And we've seen Boston really tighten up their rotation. They ran a 7-man rotation last game. They'll probably run an 8-man rotation tonight since they are getting Marcus Smart back. But I think Robert Williams on DraftKings is definitely too cheap. I like him a lot at 4,800. He's not as cheap on Yahoo, so I don't like him as much there. But I think at this DraftKings price tag, he looks like a really good play. And then I do want to mention Grant Williams at 4,200. He's been playing really well off the bench. His minutes have been very solid. 35 minutes for him last game. He played 29 minutes in game 1 of this series. Grant Williams is one of these guys that you never know what you're going to get from him. He's not a super productive point per minute player. He's kind of out there for defense. He can knock down some threes. But he's 4,200. He's fairly cheap, and he should get around 30 minutes. He's been kind of their staple off the bench lately. So I think he's a pretty solid value. I wouldn't expect him to score 33 DraftKings points again, but I think he's pretty good to give you like 20 to 24 DK points, which at his salary is probably going to get the job done, especially because, it is kind of hard to find value on these playoff slates. So I do like Grant Williams for value. I don't think I'm considering anyone else on Boston. So let's move on to the other side of this game with Milwaukee. At the top with Giannis, 11-5. Look, it's a 2-game slate. Giannis is always in play. Pretty much any slate he's on, and especially on a 2-game slate. Clearly, Giannis is a top play today. It's just a matter of, if you can fit him in, who do you have to play to get Giannis in? That's kind of the big decision you have to make on these playoff slates. The value is pretty thin, so if you're trying to go stars and scrubs, or if you're trying to pay up for a star like Giannis, you're probably going to have to play some guys that maybe you wouldn't want to play. But we know Giannis has massive upside, and if Giannis has one of those games where he puts up 70, 75 DraftKings points, you're probably going to have to have him to win tournaments. We know that ceiling is always there. The matchup against Boston is obviously not ideal, but that hasn't stopped Giannis from putting up big games. He went for 64 DraftKings points in game 1 of the series. Was a little bit disappointing last game, but we know the ceiling that Giannis has. This should be a competitive game. He should play about 40 minutes. Obviously, he's in play on a 2-game slate. I would say he's probably my third favorite pay-up option behind Steph and Ja, who we're going to talk about in a second. But then you have Drew Holiday at 8,100, who I do like quite a bit as a mid-range play. Ever since Chris Middleton has been out, I've been playing Drew a lot in DFS, and I've been betting a lot of his props. He's not been the most consistent, so far in the postseason. But the opportunity will be there without Chris Middleton. He does get a big bump in usage whenever Middleton's off the floor. The shot attempts have been really good. He's been taking a lot of shots. He's taken 20 shots in both games so far in the series. He's also contributed with 5 assists, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. he'll get peripherals as well. He'll get those rebounds. He'll get those assists. He can always get some defensive stats too. Like Jrue Holiday just does everything when he's on the floor. He should play 38 to 40 minutes if it's a close game. I think at this price tag, he's not going to get a ton of ownership today. So I do like Jrue Holiday as a mid-range guard option. I think he does stand out as a very solid option today. And then you got Bobby Portis at 6,100. I mean, Bobby Portis has been super consistent so far in the playoffs. Last game was a little bit disappointing for him. 22 DK points in 26 minutes. That's like the worst game he's had since he got moved into the starting lineup. Basically, these last 5 games have all been without Middleton. 41, 28, 37, 34, and 22 DK points for Portis. Minutes have been super solid. 25, 33, 32, 32, 26 last game. I think most games we're getting like 30, 32 minutes from Bobby Portis. He's about a fantasy point per minute player. I think at 6,100, he's kind of priced where he should be, but Bobby Portis is a guy that, always have some interest in when the minutes are there, and right now he should continue to play 30, 32 minutes, with Middleton still out. Brook Lopez, not super high on. He just hasn't been that good, especially since Portis got moved into the starting lineup. That's really hurt Brook Lopez. His usage just isn't as good. His rebounding numbers aren't as good either playing with Portis. Not a guy I'm really super excited about at 4,600. And then you have, Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton, who I will continue to mention pretty much every slate while Middleton's out. I think both these guys are in play for value. Grayson Allen should play 25, 30 minutes off the bench. Obviously had a pretty bad game last game, but we've seen the upside from Grayson Allen. When he does get hot from the field, he can have those games where he shoots the ball really well, can put up 25, 30 DraftKings points. I think he's priced about right at 4,500, but did want to mention him for value. And then Pat Connaughton, he is super, super cheap on DraftKings. He's only 3,400. I know he's been kind of disappointing in these games without Middleton. He really hasn't shown much of a ceiling, but his minutes are going to be pretty stable. Like, he's going to get low 20s minutes pretty much every night while Middleton's out, and maybe on the nights where he's playing well, maybe when he gets hot from 3, you could see him play 26, 28 minutes. It's really hard to find guys this cheap that have like any sort of upside on playoff slate. So I think if you're looking for a punt option below 4K, Pat Connaughton at 3,400 is probably one of your best plays this cheap. There's not much down here that's even playable, but I think Pat Connaughton at this salary is a pretty decent value play. I think he continues to be a solid option you can consider. But that's all that I got for Milwaukee. So let's go ahead and move on to the night game, talk about Memphis and Golden State. So looking at Memphis today, you got John Morant at the top at 10,300. I mean, I like John Morant quite a bit on this slate. John Morant has been amazing so far in the series. He's put up 68 and 76 DraftKings points through 2 games against Golden State. He's played massive minutes, 38 and 41 minutes. Shot attempts have been great. Usage has been great. He's been contributing in all categories outside of just scoring. He's been getting a ton of rebounds, getting a ton of assists. He's basically shown triple-double upside every night. I feel like at some point, Ja's probably going to have like a down game, and he's probably going to put up like 50 DK points or something. But man, like when he's playing 40 minutes a night with the uses that he has, like that 65, 70 point ceiling is always there. Golden State really hasn't shown good enough defense to really be able to stop Ja right now. They lost Gary Payton, who's arguably one of their better like guard defenders. Ja just been killing Golden State so far. So I think at 10,300, Ja looks like one of the best pay-up options today. I like him quite a bit on both sides. On Yahoo, he's pretty affordable over there. He's only $47, which, compared to some of the other studs on this slate, like he's $10 less than Giannis. He's only $4 more than Tatum, excuse me. I like Ja quite a bit on Yahoo as well at $47. I think he looks like a pretty good play over there. Desmond Bane at 6,400, I think makes sense as a low-owned term option. He's been really bad in this series. He's not been shooting the ball much. He's not been shooting the ball well either. But now you have no Dillon Brooks for Memphis, which I guess I should have mentioned. Dillon Brooks is suspended for this game, so we'll kind of talk about how that changes things a little bit. I think that does give a little bit more usage to a guy like Ja. I think it could mean a little bit more usage for a guy like Desmond Bane as well. We know Desmond Bane has a ceiling, and I think most nights he's going to play high 30s minutes. I don't think he's going to continue to be as bad as he's been. I don't know if he's like injured right now. I know he was kind of dealing with an injury before. He's just been playing really poorly, but you have to think it's going to turn around at some point. So if you want to continue to play Desmond Bane, hope this is the game that he finally gets hot and starts knocking down shots. Like, I think that's fine to do in tournaments. Triple J, I mean, as long as he can stay out of foul trouble, we know the upside is there. Last game he did get into some foul trouble late, fouled out in 29 minutes. But you saw the 2 games before that. Game 1 of this series, he was great. Game 6 of that Minnesota series, he was great. Stayed out of foul trouble that game. When Triple J's not in foul trouble, I think he's playing like 32, 34 minutes, and he's a good point-per-minute player. He can score, he can rebound, he can block shots. I think at 6,300, he still looks like a very solid mid-range play. I like Triple J quite a bit today. I think Brandon Clark's a solid option as well. Brandon Clark should play close to 30 minutes off the bench. He's been a consistent part of the rotation so far in the playoffs. Steven Adams is expected back today for Memphis, but who knows if Steven Adams is even in the rotation? I mean, we don't really know. So I think Clark's minutes are going to be solid regardless. I think at 6K, he is fine to go to. And then value from Memphis. So we actually kind of have some value here. So no Dillon Brooks, like I said, he is suspended for this game. If I had to guess, I think Zaire Williams will start in place of Dillon Brooks. Now, Zaire Williams has never shown a ton of upside. He's never been a great point-per-minute player. But he is only 3,200, and he probably does get like mid-20s minutes. So if you're looking for a punt play outside of a guy like Pat Connaughton, like I think Zaire Williams is probably your next best option. He's viable today. I have no issue going there. But I like D'Anthony Melton quite a bit. I think D'Anthony Melton's minutes should be a little bit more secure without Brooks. We saw Dillon Brooks get ejected very early in that game last game. Melton played 26 minutes. He played 25 minutes the game before that in game 1 of this series. His minutes have been pretty consistent. It seems like they want him out there for defense going up against Steph. If we're going to get like 25, 26, 27 minutes from D'Anthony Melton, he's a good point-per-minute player. We've seen him be productive in the minutes that he's gotten. At 4,300, I think he's a pretty good value play on the slate. And, obviously with no Brooks, I think the minutes do become a little bit more secure for D'Anthony Melton. So I like him as a value. He's very cheap on both sites. He's cheap on Yahoo, $12 over there. He definitely stands out as one of the better value plays, at least in my opinion. I like him quite a bit. As we mentioned, Zaire Williams you could go to. Did want to mention Steven Adams because Steven Adams is only 3,400 today. Obviously, he's been out for COVID protocols. He's been out for a while. Even in that Minnesota series, he pretty much got cut out of the rotation. We have no idea if Steven Adams is going to be in the rotation. We have no idea if he's going to be back in the starting lineup. This is going to be something we have to monitor. I think most likely Steven Adams replaces Xavier Tillman in the starting lineup, and Steven Adams just plays kind of the Xavier Tillman role, gets like 18 to 20 minutes. But man, like Steven Adams is a good point-per-minute player, so if he gets like 25 minutes today, 3,400, he is a great value play. I just have no idea how much Steven Adams plays here, if at all. He might not even play. He might not even be in the rotation. Tricky situation, man. I think if you are playing a lot of lineups, I would definitely have some Steven Adams in my player pool, and if Steven Adams doesn't start, that probably means that he's not getting any minutes. So if he's not starting, I would probably swap off of him, swap to like Zaire Williams. But if Steven Adams does start today, I think he's a pretty good value. I don't think he's going to play huge minutes, but he'll probably play enough that at 3,400 he can, hit value at the salary. So did want to mention him. I think, he's for sure going to be someone I do target on the slate, depending on what that starting lineup looks like for Memphis. But that's all that I got for the Grizzlies. We talked about everything for this team. So let's talk about Golden State real quick before we end the video. So starting off at the top, Steph Curry, 9,200. Look, I still think Steph is too cheap. I've been playing Steph a lot so far in the playoffs. Had a pretty bad game in game 1 of this series, but he bounced back last game, had 51 Draftkings points, played 39 minutes. Steph is going to play 38 to 40 minutes here. Golden State going back home. I feel like Steph just plays way better at home. That might be just a thing. That might just be me just guessing, but I want to say that Steph has always been better at home for what it's worth. Looking at his splits this season, it doesn't look like much of a difference, but at home, in what should be a fairly fast-paced game, we're going to get 38, 40 minutes from Steph. He's shown plenty of upside so far in the postseason. He's been scoring plenty. He's been getting rebounds, been getting assists as well. He almost had a triple-double last game. I think at 9,200, when you factor in the savings you get dropping down from like Giannis to Steph, Giannis to Ja Morant, I kind of like taking the savings and going down to these guys who have similar upside to someone like Giannis. So at 9,200, I do like Steph a lot on this slate as a pay-up option. I think he's really affordable on Yahoo. He looks great over there, $38. In my opinion, he's way too cheap on Yahoo as well. Then you have Jordan Poole at 7,200. Continues to be a solid play. He had obviously that huge game in game 1 where he put up 59 Draftkings points. Wouldn't expect that to happen again, but I think we're going to get like 35, 36 minutes from Jordan Poole on a nightly basis, and we know the upside is there because he is a great shooter. He can get hot from the field. Between him or like Klay Thompson, I think I would rather go to Jordan Poole. Klay Thompson, he's just kind of been up and down so far in the postseason, and so far in this series, he hasn't been great. But we know Klay can get hot any game. Going back home, I feel like Klay's another guy that shoots way better at home. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but I feel like when Klay has his big games, it's usually at home in front of the home crowd. At 7,100, he's a fine GPP play. I feel better about Poole, but I think Klay is playable. Draymond Green at 6,800. Continues to be a solid mid-range play. So far in the series, obviously game 1 he got ejected. Don't want to look too much into that one. Last game was a little bit disappointing, but we know Draymond has upside when he's getting 35, 36 minutes a night, and that's what I expect him to play if this game stays close, which it should. Draymond's a guy that can do everything when he's on the floor. He can stuff the stat sheet. I think he's a pretty solid mid-range play. I like him a lot on Yahoo, though. He's really affordable over there. He's the same price tag as Al Horford. I think him and Al Horford look like two of the best forward options on Yahoo. I definitely like Draymond at that $23 salary on Yahoo. And obviously on Yahoo, you get 3 points for blocks and steals, and we know Draymond can rack up those blocks and steals. So that's always another incentive to roster Draymond on Yahoo because of the stocks or the 3 points for stocks you get over there. And then Wiggins, as a mid-range play is fine. I really haven't played Wiggins at all so far in the playoffs, but he's going to get 35, 36 minutes. He's probably going to give you 25, 30 Draftkings points. He feels like a very safe play. I do kind of question the upside. I question the ceiling a little bit, but maybe for cash games, you could go to Andrew Wiggins. He feels safe. It feels like he gives you a pretty high floor. And then if you're looking for the punt value plays from Golden State, I really don't think there's much here. Maybe Otto Porter gets some minutes. He played 21 last game. Maybe he plays low 20s. He's a viable option, but I don't feel great about him. Without Gary Payton, who gets those minutes probably just means more minutes for Poole and Steph and Clay. I don't know if there's going to be a specific guy that takes up a lot of Payton's minutes. It could be just kind of spread out between Porter. Maybe Kuminga plays a little bit more. I don't really think there's anyone on the bench I'm going to from Golden State. So that's it for this 2-game Saturday night slate. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed, hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button as well. Again, go check out PrizePicks if you haven't yet. Sign up over there. Use promo code NOAH. When you do, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And you can take a look at the board they have posted already for Saturday's games. Take a look at some of their props. As we do get closer to tip-off Saturday night, they will start to add more props to their board. You can take a look at those, make some picks for yourself. You're just picking over or under. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks, and you can win up to 10 extra money on PrizePicks. It's a lot of fun. I know a lot of you guys have already started playing over there, but if you haven't yet, sign up, use code NOAH, get your first deposit matched up to $100. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for Saturday's 2-game slate. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Enjoy your Saturday. Wish you the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next video.